So maybe you're a tricker who has an aerial, but you want to clean it up more, or you're in something like tumbling gymnastics or dance and you're not getting your aerial yet or not as fast as you want to. Well, whatever your goals are, this is one possible way that you can learn your aerial. So this method actually works perfectly for whether you're doing a tricking aerial or a straight over gymnastics aerial. So hopefully this can help you get your aerial. And it's also the most obvious method. So go ahead and warm up your cartwheel. Specifically, you want to do it in the mode that you're trying to do it. So if you're trying to do a straight over aerial, make sure that you are starting in a deep lunge facing your direction of momentum. If you're trying to do it like a tricking aerial, then start in that butterfly kick stance or do a spin step into your cartwheel. But either way, warm up your cartwheels. What you want to focus on is doing the cartwheel as fast as possible. Okay, aerial requires some flexibility, but it's really a power move in my opinion, because I'm not flexible and I can do a straight aerial. Once you have your cartwheel warmed up and you're all stretched out and everything, what you want to do is one of two things. You can go in either order with this. So you can start with the third one and then go back to these first two, or you can start with the first two. But the way I teach it normally is the way I'm about to teach you. I know that's confusing. I didn't need to say it, but so try to keep as much speed as you had in the first one, unless you feel like it's gonna be dangerous, and you're going to touch only your left hand. I twist to my left, so that's my left leg in front for my normal cartwheeling side. So you wanna touch the close hand, whichever one that is. For me, it's my left. Keep your eyes on the ground, place your hand, kick backwards as hard as you can, and it's gonna feel a little more of a stretch than normal. Make sure that you are reaching out far in front of you and not straight down. If you're reaching straight down, then your body's gonna be crunched up and you're not gonna be able to have a lot of power for the aerial later. It also might hurt your hips a little bit and you won't know why. Once you have the one hand cartwheel down, you're actually gonna do another one hand cartwheel, but you're gonna do the switch hand. So for me, that's my right hand. The reason this one is a little bit harder than the left hand is because you put your left hand down and then you can just like place it and your body will go around the left hand. But for the right hand, you're actually going to have to turn a little bit before you place the hand down, or else you won't make the full 180 rotation and it'll feel really strange. For this one, it is very important that you reach really far. You're gonna have to maybe jump a little bit on this one, because basically you're doing the full rotation of your torso and that twist that I talked about in my other methods. But if you are just looking at this tutorial, you're basically turning away from your direction of twist and you are reaching over with that right hand in this case as you kick backwards. That's gonna create the aerial motion and really teach you how to be open during this motion. But keep doing it until you can do it really fast. If you have to do it slow, then you are not ready for an aerial. Once you can do the one hand version, the switch hand version, then you're going to start jumping into your cartwheel. The reason I say to do this as step 3 is because your wrists are already warmed up and you're not gonna like take a lot of impact in your wrists and injure them like right away. So that's why I recommend doing the switch hands and the other hand before doing the jump. But again, doesn't matter to me either way because you'll incorporate the others later. But your goal is to jump as far as you can into your cartwheel. Remember, whether you're doing a straight or tricking aerial, whichever one you're doing, you want to turn that foot to your direction of momentum. So in my case, my left foot, and then I want to reach as far as possible away from my left leg. The reason being is it's gonna encourage me to jump. When you jump, you wanna not only jump forward, in fact, you actually don't really want to jump forward at all. You actually want to jump straight up like a piston pushing upwards, and then the momentum that you ran into it with, or you know, that you're throwing your chest into it with, is going to carry you over, especially if you kick that leg really hard. So you want to just float in the air and try to jump and wait as long as possible before you actually touch your hands down. And then it'll kind of give you that aerial motion. You're really gonna feel like you're going for it, or like, oh wow, that was actually kind of close to an aerial, huh? From there, you can just keep doing that until like you're really close to an aerial, or you can do a jumping close hand cartwheel. And then you can do a jumping far hand cartwheel. And then you'll be close to an aerial. From there, you need to just add momentum into your setup. So sprint or jog into the cartwheel and try to really jump if you're going for that straight aerial, or if you're doing the tricking aerial, do your spin step now and make sure you have a crap ton of momentum going into that cartwheel. And then you just jump Try not to touch your hands, and then if your foot comes down first, then you got your aerial. Just make sure you're being safe, because with this method, you wanna make sure that you catch with your hands. You never wanna jam up your ankle. So if you feel like you're mid-air and you're thinking like, oh, this is gonna hurt my ankle, just put your hands down. You can always just try again in like 0.5 seconds. So it's not worth just, cranking your ankle up and hurting yourself when you just put your hands down. When you're ready to land your aerial, you will know. You'll feel it and you'll kick over fast and it'll feel a little scary, but you'll be like, wait a second, I'm like really high up, I got this. And you'll just step down, and if you had enough momentum, you'll land it. And if you don't, but you still land with enough momentum to not hurt your ankle, you'll know the difference. You'll like hit your ankle and be like, oh, okay, that feels good. Or you'll land on your foot and it's like, all right, that feels nice. But then you'll just like fall over because you made another error or something. But if it doesn't hurt your ankle, then you know you put enough momentum into it and jumped enough and kicked enough, and you gotta like figure out what it is. Normally in that case, it's that you didn't do the twist enough, or you didn't actually like open your torso forward. What are the pros and cons of learning with this method? The first pro is that you don't need any equipment. You can just do it on any solid surface, grass, backyard, the beach, wherever you want to be. The second pro is that it feels really safe. Like you're really close to the ground, you're just doing a cartwheel a lot, and you just work your way up. This is honestly one of the best ways to get it for anyone. Like, even if you go to a gymnastics class, a lot of times they'll teach you this way. So it's just like the obvious way to do it, and it's the safest. It just takes the longest, which is a con. It takes the longest because if you don't have the muscle power to do it, it can be deceptive. It's like, oh, well, I can do the switch hand, I can do the jumping one, I can do all these different parts of it, but I'm still not getting my aerial. Why? It's mostly probably because you don't have the conditioning to be able to kick hard enough to get over and jump hard enough to get high enough to make the rotation time, and et cetera, et cetera. Another con is that you really want to focus on, the 180 motion of this. It's really easy to land with your hips sideways because you can just put your hand down and then just kind of relax as you're coming down. So you're not going to have as much of the feeling of pulling your chest up away from the ground as you're landing this. And therefore it's easier to kind of relax your hips at the end and just land sideways. Another con is that it's kind of hard on your wrists when you go to the jumping one. So just warm up your wrists. Make sure like you really got them warmed up so you're not just hurting yourself. So hopefully that helped you get or improve your aerial. If it did, please leave a like on the video to support this video. And if you want to support me further, please check the links in the description and check out my Patreon. If it didn't help you, I have a link to a playlist for all the different methods I have for an aerial. So hopefully one of them will help you. But either way, until next time, please stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you guys later.